I have a question for you, man.
Yes, sir.
What's on the playlist at the Level Up right now?
Bro, literally my next thing says hip hop and what are you listening to right now? That's awesome. That's how I was like, because I'm like, all right, cool, we're done with all the fight shit. Let's talk hip hop. All right, guys, welcome back to the Late Night Level Up. I'm your host, Jason Farrell. Today I got the man, the myth, the legend, El Presidente, Mr. Corley. How are you, sir?
What's up? I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. You know, it's wild. It's wild out here in the streets, you know? How about you, brother? How's everything going?
Everything's going good. I'm glad to see things opening up a bit. Texas is like it's on here, and
Yeah.
I just there's some events popping up now for the athletes to go compete in.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm really excited now. So that's a big part of my life that was taken away for a year or so,
Yeah.
So yeah,
It,
looking
it,
back to everything.
it messes with you mentally. Like you don't really even realize it. So we just did our first like smoker event here since everything's been closed down, and I was like so stressed about the whole thing, because I've
Yeah.
been out of practice and just all of it. And it was like, man, it was wild, but good way to kind of get my feet back in there and get back
Yeah,
in the game a little bit,
yeah. We just had a smoker last night at Mark Beecher's gym.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah.
How far away are you guys from each other?
I think it's like 25 miles.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's not too far.
That's cool. Do you guys get to cross train very often, or?
It's so if there's no like we don't really get to cross train too often because like on the time of when the smoker was, it's not too bad because it was at night on a evening on a Saturday.
Right.
But to go out his way or my way during like drive time, like work hour traffic is packed. Like
Oh
really,
shit.
or that 25-mile drive can take like an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh
So
yeah, so it's not really worth it then. Yeah, that's crazy. That's cool though. So how the smokers went all right though? Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's just a smoker to me. This I've been in like smokers have been the same for like 20 years. There's some people it's like their end all is at the smoker, and some gyms that's like their they're making highlight videos the rest of their lives as the smokers.
Yeah,
Like I'm
yeah,
using
yeah.
it to get our guys get our feet wet, get some guys maybe that haven't been active just get back in there and get the groove. But yeah, I don't use them for more than that. Like they are what they are.
Yep, for sure. My main thing for me has always been, and I tell people a lot, like I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to communicate with my fighters, because some of them, like I feel like some of them will respond better to like numbers, like if I can be like 152, or some of
Yeah.
them I gotta yell like poker face, or I gotta like a code word, and they'll respond better to that. And some of them are just like robots, like you gotta kind of, for me at least, I like gotta program them on the pads a little bit more, like just to kind of have that reaction time and stuff. So I feel like that's pretty much what I do, like 2 or 3 at the very most. Like if somebody's like really not doing great in there, I'm kind of like also in a way kind of like, hey, maybe this isn't, maybe we shouldn't
Yeah.
go past this either. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Only
there's a
gonna get
couple like
harder.
it. You don't want to get them hurt. They go to an amateur contest. Smokers pretty much here are full on,
Hmm.
but there's just that added little something to it when it counts. On your record.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, smokers don't. Yeah, it's just a way to get started. I know what you mean though about people.
Well, we have like a
Serious.
thing here in Texas, man. Like because our commission is awful. They don't
Mhm.
allow third party sanctioning like all the other 41 states do. Allowing whatever IKF, WKA, TBA.
Yeah.
We don't allow anything. It has to be done through the state, and it has to
Oh
be done
wow.
all like almost like a professional fight.
Yeah.
And it deters everybody from wanting to do it. So everything in Texas is like a smoker, and some of these people like they just I mean, people are handing out belts at smokers. I'm not joking.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
doing
we
like
don't even do a winner. I don't do even a winner or loser. It's basically like a 3-round sparring match the way we do it, because it's just, like I said, just for them to get
get
some ring
experience.
time and get in front of a crowd. And holy shit, yeah, belts, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You won, buddy. You're the big winner. That's crazy. Holy shit. Yeah, I guess our state is kind of the same as you guys, because that I know. I mean, Muay Thai, I guess I don't really know, because Muay Thai is still not even legal here. My athletic commissioner is such a lazy ass, man. Like, he just won't. I've been fussing with him about it since 2013.
Yeah.
Like, I've had meetings, and like I stopped calling a while back, because I'm just like, he's never going to do it. It's just kind of pointless at this point. But he would like answer the phone, be like, I know, Jason, I know, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just can't do. So and what's holding it back is he's working on amateur MMA. So he's been working on amateur MMA for, I think, like 4 years before I started bugging him about it. So I'm like, okay, so whenever amateur MMA gets done, then we still got another 4 years probably before we ever get to Muay Thai or kickboxing. So it's just kind of like a
We had
waste of
something
time.
good here in Texas. I think they finally looked over. Me and JJ had submitted some tournament rules, and we're like, we're not even. It's okay if you don't want to let us do a Muay Thai show, but we need to have like tournaments. We need to get our
Yeah.
kids youth experience. Like, we all shouldn't be driving out to Oklahoma or
Right.
flying to Arizona. Like, we should be able to get experience in our own state. So
Yeah.
they
Especially, it's a big ass state too.
yeah, they're finally looking over the rules, and like, it's crazy. We see all these people at these tournaments, and a lot of them are from Texas, Dallas, San Antonio, Houston. Got a lot of schools now. It's getting big, but they have nowhere to compete except out of state. So it's pretty
Yeah.
frustrating.
That's rough. That's super rough. What about the YDLs? I mean, that's kind of like a weird thing. Like, you guys could do YDLs there, or do you think it would
Yeah,
be?
it is, but there, people. I don't know what the people that are like the purist or whatever they are. There's like people that are resistant to it, but the people that are resistant to it are usually the people that have never produced or seen real Muay Thai in
Right.
person. I mean,
Right. Right. Right.
it's like, I don't know.
I
They put
know.
up a bunch
I
of
know the people you're talking about.
all fancy stuff up in their gym, but I don't see them at the fights with
Right.
athletes or anything. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I've developed kids to adults, and like, where are theirs?
Right.
YDL works because you're teaching them not to blitz across the ring with just the 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and
Yeah.
lock somebody up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And, refereeing, as a referee, when I go to the tournaments, the nationals and stuff, it was actually kind of sad. I sit there and I'd have to stop a lot of fights with these kids because they never even got to have a Muay Thai match. They're basically just coming out there, and one kid comes out and they're like,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
like overwhelms them again. I gotta like wave it off. Everybody's all pissed off, but YDL gets a chance to, like, not just go blast the head. You're gonna use teeps and body kicks and movement. Like, when they did if you ever seen them, they're great.
I think they're amazing. I literally I don't know why I've been dragging my feet, and like just before we jumped on, I shot Patrick a message and was like, hey man, what? Because we were talking about it a while ago, and it just hit me. I was like, man, that would actually be a perfect thing to kind of get going again here now too, since we're starting to do some smaller events. So yeah, I'll see what he says. I'd like to get him going here for sure. We had been talking about it, and then obviously with everything getting shut down, it just didn't make any
Yeah, I
sense
think
until
he's
now.
ready to get cranked up again this
That's awesome.
summertime. So it'll be good.
Yeah. Well, I'll see. Hopefully, I can get on board and help out with that too. So when did you start training Muay Thai? What was your like introduction to it?
I was doing amateur boxing, and then I met Eve Edwards, MMA pioneer,
Mm-hmm.
like the uncrowned 155 champion back in the day.
Yeah.
I saw him at a boxing event, and he had heard where I was announced from. I was from Spring, Texas, and at that time, there was no boxing or anything really up that way. No mixed martial arts, nothing. But he had a really small, little, I would say maybe 1,500 square feet or smaller than that, gym next to a Popeyes. and he's like, "Hey, I heard that you were from Spring, and guy in one of your classes, he had told me about you." It was like, "Oh wow!" So I wanted to go in. I always like watched UFC, but I really didn't know what was going on. And then when I went to his gym, like it was like kind of like the first time I went to boxing. I was like, "Wow, this is awesome!" I wanted to
Yeah.
go on with it, and then that's kind of how I got introduced to mixed martial arts. And then from doing that kind of training, like the grappling and Muay Thai, I was more drawn to the Muay Thai. So
Yeah.
he let me go to like Saxon's, Saxon Janjira's smokers a couple times to get my feet wet. And then from there, I was like all Muay Thai.
Nice. So you started in boxing first.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That was one of my questions because I know you mixed back and forth, but I didn't know that boxing came first. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome having that blend. That's something I did the same thing. I always thought I was a boxer growing up, and then obviously started training boxing. I was like, oh yeah, I don't know shit until I started getting beat up by boxers. But yeah, it's always try to blend the two together because I feel like they go together really well if you know like when to kick and how
Yeah.
to adjust your stance so that you don't get your legs and head blasted off your body a
Yeah.
little
It's
bit.
just, it's good for, the defense and, uh, boxing defense. And I think all of the fundamentals of boxing are really great that I try to utilize some of that stuff in the Muay Thai training, like
Mhm.
a lot of line drills, because it's forward and backward. Whereas a lot of times you see Muay Thai people, in training just beating up their partner or doing offense, defense. And I think a lot of times in the box, like I go back to like when it first started on boxing, like they didn't let you hit pads with the trainer. They didn't let you do anything but line drills and then hit the bag. And then
Yep.
after like after a month, they kind of weeded out the people that didn't want to take it serious and be strict on it. And then yeah, I like the old school boxing, stuff. I try to blend that into the Muay Thai a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously it shows because your people are always like super efficient, and you can tell they're the thing I always get excited to see um when you post videos is you and the kids. Like
Yeah,
because it's always like I feel like I've seen at this point, I think I've seen like 50 different kids and they all look
they
like
got some hands.
they got some hands, they got the shoulder rotation in their kicks already. It's just like you do an awesome job with that. And it's like, man, if these kids stick with it, they're all going to be killers. But it's
Yeah,
awesome to see them have the technique that they have already. Like I say, even just I feel like it's hard to get the adults to like rotate their shoulders for their kicks,
yeah. That's
even
why I like
sometimes.
the kids. They listen.
Yeah.
We have yeah, the adults, they sometimes they'll question it or be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I saw this video the other day." I'm like, "Oh man."
Your YouTube are
Yeah,
banned until you have your first fight. No more YouTube. Um, what was the process for fighting for the USMF when you fought for the USMF?
like how did I get selected, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So let's see, 2000. The first time, was 2008, and I had a bunch of amateur boxing matches, and I had um, maybe like 10 or 11 Muay Thai things. And they were just like, when I say Muay Thai, some were Muay Thai, some were like San Shao matches.
Mhm.
It was like basically whatever you could get your hands on
Yeah, yeah.
down here in Texas at that time. And there was a guy here that was doing like these talent search type of things, what he called them. And there was basically just like a smoker. And I think what they'd done is they submitted names. I think me and Daniel Kim got submitted from Texas at that time, and they put us on the team, and I was for like IFMA, and it was in Korea.
Oh,
And
cool.
then I had no idea like the level,
Right.
it kind of like woke me up to like the real international level because I had at that time I hadn't even gotten a real taste of what Muay Thai was on the West Coast and East Coast.
Mhm.
Being from Texas, I got to do some national boxing tournaments, but I never got to see Muay Thai on even the highest level of national.
Yeah.
And at that time, there was nothing going on anyway. But when I went to IFMA, it was crazy. And then I was like, right after that, they offered like Fairtex was like, dude, 25% off any USA person wants to come here. And like right after that tournament, I was like, I need to go to Thailand now. Like
Right.
there's no way I'm going to compete at the next level if I go back home and do the same old shit that I was doing before.
Yeah, yeah.
So after that, I did that, and I came home, and the next year, I had it was like 8 months. I didn't have any fight from IFMA. Like I had nothing, and I ended up taking like a fight in Canada. I beat a guy that was really good. So then I got brought back on the team again, but it was in the A class,
Hmm.
and nobody was wanting to fight A class.
Yeah.
Uh, I did that one, and from there, I guess kept like I just had a hunger to get better, get better, get better. I was having some humbling experiences along the way,
Yeah.
but that's how the first one. Yeah, just being active and submitting like a tape and videos of training, videos of the some sparring events and fight events, and that was it. And then the second one, they already knew who I was, and I had fought and beat like the number one. I think he was like the number one IKF guy at the time. So,
Oh, nice.
and then yeah, that's all. From there, it was I've always had some kind of connection to it because I know it really helped me and it helped wake me up, and I just wanted to keep on being involved with it to help. The more of our USA people got exposed to those type of international events, the better we'll all be. In
Yeah,
America.
for sure. For sure. Nah, that's 100% the truth. When did you make the transition into fighting pro?
Right after that IFMA, the 2009, it was in Thailand,
Mhm.
and right after the fights, I got stitches under my chin. I got kneed in the chin, like just
Shit.
wow. Yeah, the guy was really tall, and I finished the fight out. Everything was good, and then I had to go get stitches, and then I had heard that Jungsonon was with the team, and he was going to go to his village in Chayapum, which is up in Isan in Thailand. He asked there was some people that are already getting matched up and going with him after the tournament. I was like, whoa, hey, I'm in. I want to get
Right.
part of that.
Right.
And then I asked him. He said, yeah, you come on. And then yeah, I had my first like kind of like real pro fight, I guess, at that time there, because that's the thing here. I think semi-pro. We could go into a whole nother thing on
Right.
subtopic later, but like there's a lot of amateurs that are better than our pros here in America just because there's not enough stuff to keep them busy. They just stay amateur and keep
Right.
racking up stuff. But yeah, I was that was probably that was the first pro fight,
Yeah.
there in Thailand. And then it was shortly after that I had moved there and started working for Fairtex, and that was when I just I went all in at that point. When I came home after that trip, I was like getting at the end of my lease in an apartment, and I just sold everything, furniture, pool tables, everything. I'm getting out of here. So
How long
yeah,
did you work at Fairtex?
about a year and a half. Yeah, I worked there at the Fairtex Bang Pli camp. The camp's no longer open. It's next to the factory.
Oh, okay.
So where they make all the equipment, that's where I was living at. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
So that one got closed down. And then you came back here after that for a while?
Well, no, it would stayed open a little bit after the time I'd left because I'd kind of been brought in to kind of try and bring life to it because it was already
Mhm.
kind of not doing well, and I don't think I tried some different things. We actually launched the MMA program for Fairtex
Oh, nice.
from there, but it just I had brought over a Jiu Jitsu instructor from America. We did, we tried. It was just at the time when a lot of stuff was getting rebuilt not rebuilt, but built in the city,
Yeah.
like just different gyms that were more modernized and in the city of Bangkok. Because Bang Pli is like 45 minutes outside,
Right.
and the SkyTrain didn't go there, so it wasn't really like a place to be. And then
Yeah.
like people, there was history there, but you know how kids are these days. They don't care about the history and stuff. They
Nah.
want to know where's the fighter now, where's the guys at now.
Right.
And all the big name fighters like Yotsun Kai and Ken, no, not Kim. He was at Sitsong Pinong at that time, but Kao and Nora Paul,
Nora
all of
Pool,
them,
yeah.
they were all at Pattaya.
Yeah.
They had taken them over there. So we just had kind of like, we had the history, but we didn't have like the action, you know. We had the
Yeah.
little kids that we had some kids that were fighting out of there, but yeah, so it was kind of I was kind of, you know, I felt a lot of pressure, did a lot of changes there, and some of the trainers weren't having it, and it just got to a point where I was like, man, I don't want to be here when it does go down, you
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
So I just kind of bowed out and hung around like another month in Thailand, and then went home. I came back shortly after that, but I mean, like I went home and you know, it was a great experience. I could never take it away, but it was challenging, you know.
That sounds awesome. I mean, that's it. That's like, I back in the when I first started Muay Thai in like 2006. So I got in kind of like late in the game, and came in wanting to be an MMA fighter, but kind of similar to you. I was like, I went to the gym because they had Muay Thai. That was what I was looking for. But you know, kind of in my mind was thinking I want to be like a Muay Thai striker in MMA. And then after I did my first Muay Thai tournament, I was like, fuck all that. I just want to do Muay Thai. You know.
All Muay Thai.
Yeah, that was it. I was like, I don't want to get paid. I just want to live the rest of my life. Just being a Muay Thai bum. It's like being a surfer almost.
Yeah, man. That's why I have. I felt it, you know, for myself, and then you know, coaching other athletes that have so-called made it in Muay Thai, and they just what you see they get paid, you would just be astonished at all the
Yeah,
hard work and stuff they go to, and they don't get paid nothing.
yeah.
And it's like, man, it's frustrating. But that's what we're in this for. We're in for the good. I'm in for the good fight. I'm here to
That's
promote
right.
the sport and get it big. To maybe one day these kids can get you know, paid properly.
Yeah, 100%, man. We just gotta somebody's gotta keep fighting for it. I know I always laugh at you know, when I do matchmaking for that show Rise that I work with, and even on some other shows that I've done matchmaking for, and people will be like, man, I don't know, like it's like $300 for a plane ticket. I'm like, motherfucker, me and Aaron spent $15,000 in 2017 just
Yeah, I was
traveling to
gonna say my
fights.
credit card
Shut
bill
up.
from my credit card bill from 2016 through 2019 was around like it was up to 14 G's.
Yeah, I
Like
know yours got to
wow,
be burnt up, man, because
it
you've been
was
all over the world.
tore up.
People don't know. People don't know. You gotta pay to play.
Well, yeah, to me that's a big thing in America is that for this type of sport, it's like an investment. It's like college, you
College,
know,
yeah, that's what I always tell
college
people
of
too.
martial arts. You know, it's
Uh-huh.
the higher learning, and you're not going to get it in your, you know, your home gym just sitting there all day. I mean, you maybe your home gym's got a lot of it, but I'm not saying everyone's home, but most people's gym doesn't have multiple high level athletes there. You got
Yeah.
to usually get outside of your place once you get to a certain point, you know.
Yep.
Unfortunately, but and then you got to get, you know, you got to outside of maybe your gym is a great gym and you're probably, you know, tearing up your region, but you got to go outside your region for your fights. Like you got to go to the other side of the country, you got to go to Europe, you got to go to Thailand, you got to, you know, it just depends on what your goals are. If you want to be the
Yeah.
best and you really want to back up what you're saying on all that social media stuff, you got to
Yeah.
got to go to the top, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I catch myself getting like all bent out of shape about stuff like that, and get into the little dumb feuds sometimes on there where, you know, blah blah blah, best, you know, whatever weight class, and I'm like, why? Because he won like a PKB or like a IKF Classic or something, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? I mean, it could be any tournament, but I'm like, he was they got some potential, man. But
Yeah,
let's see what else they can do, you know, before we start
definitely.
saying the best. You know, don't say the best, just say they're fucking good. You know.
Yeah, they had a great tournament. They had a great tournament.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I get that gets to me sometimes too. But I think that just goes back to like what you said, and the people that are you know, blowing out their credit cards and living paycheck to paycheck and doing whatever they got to do to travel around and do these fights and stuff like that. You know, it gets a little frustrating sometimes hearing the weird claims that other people make. You know.
Yeah, man, gotta go all in. Don't want to have any shouldas and what ifs. If I'd have done it, you know what I mean? Just
Yep.
go all in.
Yeah. They're lucky they didn't let me go to IFMA. Yeah, okay, guy. What about so when you were before that, were you still with Eves all the way up until you went to
Oh no, he had
Princess?
I had gone to college, and during my college I'd come down when I could to Houston and train because there was only thing that was in where I was going to school was a boxing club. So I naturally got back into boxing. I did like 6 or 7 matches through college in boxing,
Mhm.
and I would occasionally do like a Muay Thai smoker. It was kind of like a little time where I was just like boxing, Muay
Yeah,
Thai, whatever there was. But Eve had gone at that time to, I believe he was at American Top Team. He had made
that's
that
right.
move
Yeah,
up
you
to
went to Florida, right?
he had closed his gym. Then he had merged with another couple Houston guys that were, a big jujitsu guy, a big other jujitsu guy, and they kind of merged and formed a gym. And Eve had kind of like branched off, went back to, or I'm not gone back. He went to American Top Team. And then when I was going back, it was like a kind of like a group of Houston area strikers for MMA that would get together on Saturdays for like sparring. And there would be like a boxing coach that we like a few of us used to work with, and that was literally like all I could do. There was
Yeah,
nothing. Not every person I was sparring with on these weekends, nobody was competing in Muay Thai. They were all MMA guys. Now some of them could have been probably good at Muay Thai, but they were
right.
all smart and started doing MMA.
They're like, I'm trying to get paid.
Yeah, well, I'm sitting here like Muay Thai, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like, yeah, there'd be some really good sparring, hard sparring. Like there was no like technique sparring. It was
Right.
hard
Yeah.
back in that time. And then, yeah, man, that was it. So when I come back home, it was like a guy named Lewis Wood. He was like a really good boxer. I think he was like 29-1-1.
Uh-huh.
He was a real like in your face hard coach. And he had a few of us that he'd work with. He'd work with a lot of MMA strikers that were fighting, and that was all I could do at that time until every now and then I would drive up to Dallas and train with Saxon, like to get a
Mhm.
Muay Thai feel.
Right.
But other than that, it was like just I was trying to do what I've learned previous and apply it in my striking there.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes that I feel like sometimes that makes really good coaches though. Like you kind of got to really you got to do a lot of mental reps on stuff like, okay, all right, I got to remember this, I got to do this. And then I think it forces you to learn a lot like in sparring. So like the stuff that you teach people are like, listen, I know this shit works because nobody told me. I had to like figure it out myself.
Yeah, I've done a lot of boxing rounds. I've done a lot of striking with MMA people.
Mhm.
I've done, Muay Thai technique sparring. So I've had a lot of different
All the
looks, I guess you
looks,
could say.
yeah. When did you open Houston Muay Thai?
2016. So 2016, I was kind of coming to what I thought was the end of my fighting. I didn't, but then like two things popped up, like I couldn't turn them down. They were like amazing opportunities, and like a lot of Americans, I don't know why weren't taking them.
Yeah.
But anyway, I opened in 2016 with Bob Perez, who is a trainer, Derek Lewis,
Yeah.
and
Bob's awesome.
Lauren Murphy and all them. Yeah, he's cool. And so we opened that together because there was one Muay Thai gym in town, but it wasn't really like it was kind of more towards fitness. It
Mm,
did have Muay Thai people competing out of there, but it didn't have like they had a lot of like station work and stuff like that. It wasn't like drilling with partners and stuff like
right.
that. What I think would be how I wanted it to be and how Bob had wanted it to be. So we started that in 2016, and yeah, man. Wait, was it 2016? Shit, was it 2014? It's 2014, man. Yeah,
Yeah. One of
2014.
those years. Yeah.
2014, yeah, because it's like it's been. But anyway, yeah, we were there in downtown Houston with Lou Savarise's boxing gym, and Bobby Benton, very good boxing trainer, Regis Padre, a bunch of big name boxers. and we were subleasing out of there, and then we grew real quick, and then we just kind of merged as one, and we were there. I was there for like 3 years, and then downtown for me, like I was in downtown Houston. We had like Rockets games right across the street. We had concerts and stuff, and it was just getting so busy and crazy all the time that I just didn't like. We didn't have a kids program. I was more invested in like growing like a gym. And like I think everybody had high level fighters and doing stuff like that. And I was I had my fighters, but I wanted to do something more as like in a gym sense. And I felt like in the future, being in downtown with all that stuff going on and the parking issues and stuff, it just wasn't kind of for me, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't want to come into work and worry about like my car getting broken into or my not having a place to park or anything shit like that.
Sucks.
So it was like I left on like good terms with everybody. And I just kind of went like 8 miles out of downtown and opened Heritage Muay Thai. That was 3 years ago. So yeah, it was opened in 2014, Houston Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And then about 3 years ago, I started Heritage Muay Thai.
Yeah. What made you decide to change the name?
Just because like I thought maybe, like maybe one day, which like I'm like if I was a jiu-jitsu black belt, like my black belts, it would take them like 15 years to get a black belt under me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, maybe one day I'll have somebody I can put my name on that they will one day want to open a school.
Right.
And do that, but I'm very, strict. I'm very hard on the fighters.
Yeah.
I just felt like I couldn't be Houston Muay Thai of Baltimore. I can't be
right.
Houston
I see what you're saying.
I wanted
if they opened like a satellite place.
Yeah, like a Heritage Muay Thai, Austin, Heritage Muay Thai, whatever,
Right.
So that was kind of that, and then I used the name because it's like kind of like a play on words. Houston Muay Thai was HMT, and then Heritage Muay Thai is HMT, and then Heritage is something I think is kind of lost in the game nowadays. Like people just think they can pop up and start teaching and being a coach, and it's like, where did you come from? Where did you? It's like you got to learn. You got to.
Yeah.
So that's like I like the word heritage. Like it has like a history or how you came up.
Yeah, that's a good name. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
the only reason I'm bummed about the name change is because I never got my Houston Muay Thai t-shirt with the little astronaut on there.
Yeah.
It's still not too late, man. You can still run.
Yeah, I actually have the artwork for that. Maybe we gotta bring one back.
You should, man. I think that thing will sell. I remember when you first we didn't even really know each other back then, and I was like, yo, if you got extra ones, let me know what to do. I love that design. Yeah, it was sick, man. That was a good shirt. That was a good shirt. So now you're adding in jiu-jitsu there now too.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time during this pandemic that I had some people sign. I don't want to say I had some people signed to some promotions for Muay Thai and kickboxing, and basically there was nothing going on. And I felt like this is like in their age time, like they got to do something. They got to be active. And so I had done during the time off, I've been like trying to like, make more space, more room in my gym. I was like, man, I got to, maybe this, because there was MMA starting to happen first, MMA's got the most money in this martial arts world of, competition. So they started having MMA competitions. And I was like, man, you know what, man, my guys need to start getting to work. We're gonna have to start getting on this. Some of my people, they do jiu-jitsu at other schools and all that stuff. I was like, man, why don't I just do a jiu-jitsu program here?
Right.
And just have everything in-house, I remember that's the big thing with fighters is like, they got to travel. I got to go here for my strength and conditioning, here for my jiu-jitsu, here for the, like, just put everything here, man. We got the room and the time. Let's make it happen,
Yeah.
So, kind of what I'm trying out right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. People don't understand how tough it is because I felt the same way, coming from the gyms that I taught at before I opened up Level Up, were predominantly jiu-jitsu gyms. And then I was, doing my best to build striking programs there. And then when I came here, even though we kind of left, I mean, we left on good terms in the sense that, there wasn't like, fuck you, you know, it wasn't like a big
Yeah.
fight or anything like that, you know? But it was also like a weird thing where after I left, it was kind of like, fuck you, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but I also just I've always felt like I was a fairly loyal person, and my intent was never to open up a gym to be like competition to the gyms that I worked out before. Um, they just the bosses at the other two gyms were jujitsu guys, and they weren't as concerned with a Muay Thai
Yeah,
program.
that's usually how it goes, man. I've
Yeah,
been the same. I was, I had been at a few jujitsu schools, and I mean, I have to see it from their eyes too. You know, like they spent their whole life doing this,
right.
but now, I'm thinking as this sport has evolved and evolved and evolved, and now it's on like ESPN and all this stuff. It's like, you know, it's much needed to bring it all together. And
Mhm.
I've seen so many of these people that have had jujitsu students of theirs for years, leave because they don't want to have a good solid striking program.
Yeah,
It goes
yeah,
the other way too. It's like I have people that have been strikers. It's like, man, I got to get this work in. I can't drive over here. They also do
mhm.
MMA sparring there, and it's like, I want to create something that, and I have the, I have I used to, corner some guys that fought in the UFC and stuff like that. I enjoy it. My first passion is always Muay Thai, but
Yeah,
with these days, I am getting a little, it's frustrating with the Muay Thai game to say the least. With
yeah,
it's just few and far between on the shows, and then it's a lot of money. I've put a lot of money into this thing.
yeah.
I'm not doing it for the money, obviously, with the fighting, but I don't want to come out of pocket,
Right.
to go and compete every single event.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't want my guys either. I know that to me, the people that have to travel so much to go to all these different places, they kind of hit like a peak. Like I think the guys that are more successful will be the ones that can do everything in house. They're
Yeah,
just right there. They got one stop shop, got it everything there.
yeah,
Uh, it's hard for an athlete to freaking fill up that gas tank and drive,
yeah,
20 miles here to get jujitsu, 10 miles here to do MMA sparring with these guys, go to wrestling over here. So I'm trying to put something together here.
yeah, yeah, man.
I'm
I've
not trying
been
to make nobody mad, all the
right.
people that, like they're like, well, you broke off to do a Muay Thai school. Why? What are you doing bringing in jujitsu? We had jujitsu, but
Yeah,
it didn't have like I don't know, my spices on there, my herbs.
yeah. No, I definitely feel you because I'm in the same boat. You know, I, I've, so I've had three jujitsu coaches here since opening up, and when I first opened up, I was like, I'll never have jujitsu at my gym. I'm always going to be boxing and Muay Thai. That's always going to be my big focus. Because they're and I mean, not to mention in this area, uh, half of the gyms in the area anyway are affiliates of Lloyd Irvin's. So like the chances of me finding a jujitsu coach that can build a program that even competes with him, it's pretty fucking slim. I mean, he as an American running a jiu-jitsu team, like he's done it the best out of everybody. I mean, no other American run jiu-jitsu team has ever um racked up medals and stuff like his team. And since I've always approached the Muay Thai as like, well, I'm trying to make sure that we're one of those types of Muay Thai and kickboxing gyms. It just I always felt funny about having like a jujitsu program that couldn't be that way too, you know.
Yeah.
And even though you got to get over that, I mean, it is what it is. We had I had actually had Sajar Eubanks here for a couple of months teaching, which was awesome. I wish I could have kept her. Then she got on the Ultimate Fighter show, and her wife at the time, her girlfriend, moved while she was on the show, like right outside New York, and she on the show was on Eddie Alvarez's team, and they're all up in New Jersey, so it just made more sense for her to
Yeah.
go there. And then I had my partner uh, for about a year where I brought somebody in. I was finally like at my wits end. I was like, man, I want to have, because I had a partner before, but he was like, we just talked about money and that was it. He was never really involved. And
Yeah.
then so I was like, it'd be good to get like a partner who runs the jujitsu part, and then we can actually split up all this shit. But then with the pandemic, I was like, man, jujitsu is just sketchy right now. Like we can't
Gotcha.
really be on top of each other. And I'm like, I can run Muay Thai classes and boxing classes and have everybody separate and on bags and doing stuff. And it was just a clashing of opinions on that. So we went our separate ways, and now we're back to just being all striking for right now.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's the game, man.
That's the game, man. So, but yeah, but I'm the same way. And I've always, since I've been here, I've always been focused on training Muay Thai and boxers, obviously, but have, been training MMA guys the whole time, and always just working with guys that train at other gyms. But like you said, it's a headache, having them having to go all around all over the place and stuff like that. So I feel
Yeah.
like we'll probably add it back in at some point. I talked to some wrestling coaches already too, because I feel like since our guys are a lot are very boxing oriented, no matter what it is, but between obviously boxing or Muay Thai, like that boxing goes hand in hand with the wrestling pretty good. So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens with all that stuff.
Right on.
Yeah, so shows in the US, I know you talked about that a little, mentioned that a little bit earlier. That's a tricky thing now too. Like you said, for the pros to stay busy is kind of tough because there's not a ton of shows running pro shows, which is um understandable if you're in the game. Like if you're a show that has to live and die off ticket sales, and you got to
Yeah.
find that fighter that can sell tickets and win fights and stuff like that, doesn't always go hand in hand. So I think we talked a little bit about that, me and Jeff, when he was on, and I like what he's doing, finding ways to like get good fighters on there and having them fight each other, as opposed to just people that sell tickets in their region, and trying
Yeah.
to find them some cans to beat up on so they look like they're world
He's
beaters.
much respect to him for uh throwing these shows on while this is all going on. I was
Yeah.
the one the first one back in the first one in Rosarito, Jacob had fought on that for
Yeah.
my gym. And yeah, it was cool, man. I was just excited as just to get back into the stuff, man. We are like,
Right.
what? We don't care. Who's the opponent? I don't care. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
How's
so
how's Becca holding up? How is she? Is she
she's good, man. She hasn't fought since the Badahari and Rico fight in the Netherlands in 2019, but she has something hopefully coming up in the next couple months.
nice?
Yeah, something big.
Okay. Oh shit. All
I
right.
don't think I can speak on it yet, but it's very big, you know.
Yeah. So with the same organization or something different?
Yeah, it's not going to be with Glory. Back
Okay.
to, I can hint at this. It's going to be back to Muay Thai. We love Muay
Okay.
Thai.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah,
That's exciting because we haven't really got to see her fight Muay Thai in a while, so that'll be cool.
yeah, it'll be cool. And then Jacob is going to be back hopefully again in a couple months.
Awesome.
Uh, yeah, man, it's going to be good. We had a Whitney Tobin, but Whitney McGuire, she had gotten married while she's been on the promotion with Lion Fight. She's like the North American champion, and
Yeah.
she her husband took a job down here, and she'd been training with us for the last few months, and she's got like a clinch game like none other.
Oh,
And so,
nice.
like my game is like striking, anti-clinch,
Yeah, me
boxing,
too.
kicks, but I mean, we don't, it's not like we don't practice clinch,
Right.
like just
Of
not
course.
my emphasis, and
Yeah.
hers is very, the Muay Thai, like the clinch and knee style. And it's been a really awesome experience with her being at the gym and blending styles, because now my people are learning those things. So yeah, man, my guys are hungry. They're gonna look good. A
Yeah,
couple
that's
months.
exciting, man. I'm happy to see I was really excited to see Lion Fight made the deal with UFC Fight Pass, because I had a feeling that would kind of help them get back to like running some big fights and stuff like that too. So that's good. We need as many of those pro
Yeah,
shows going on as possible, I feel like now.
anything get guys rocking. You know, anybody.
Yeah.
I saw something where they're bringing back the Warriors Cup, I think in July or something like that too, on the East Coast. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to take with the California guys. But the promotions, I hope they can come back. But yeah, man, I think this tournament season, it may not be record numbers, but I think people are going to turn out and, you know, it's tough, but I think 2022, which is like something I'm really looking forward to, is the World Games is coming to the U.S.
Yeah.
USMF is going to have a World Games Invitational for the USA team. So we're basically we're going to have this like kind of a pro-am, semi-pro rankings chart. And it's going to be like a panel, and then there's going to be a thing for a vote, you know, like audience vote. And out of that 8, we're going to create like 8-man or 8-woman divisions and have them fight like a 3-day 8-man tournament.
That's awesome.
See who's going to be at the spot. So that's something I've been quiet about. So this is my first time laying it out right here.
I wish I had the little air horn thing, the little That's awesome, man. That sounds really cool. So when will you start putting that stuff together?
We might do like a little small kind of like test run thing, like in like maybe like for a weight class that's not in the World Games, because there's 6 men's weight classes and 6 women weight classes, and there's kind of like a couple weight classes and you're like, damn, it's like a gap. Like, so there's going to be a like a 156, like a 71 kilo, and they're not going to have the 75 kilo, which is a very popular one. That's the 165. It goes up to like 81. So maybe we'll do like a 75 kilo tournament, and those guys are gonna have to make a decision to go up or down afterwards. Right. But I just wanted to maybe do a test run this year. If not, we're looking at like March of 2022. We're gonna do the USA Team World Games qualifiers, and we are going to, all the winners of this event are going to be fully funded to the World Games in Birmingham, Alabama. And it's going to be something just crazy, because over the last 4 or 5 years, they extended it. So it's like 5 years. All the people they're going to be facing are people that have had to have won an IFMA. They've had to have won a European Games. They've had to have won all these world tournament type things, because you just don't get to represent. Like it has to be, you had to have qualified. And the only reason the USA gets to have is because we're a host country. So they give you the spots.
That's awesome.
Our guys, like, that's why it's got to be an invitational. Like we got to bring in our best guys, you know.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Because they're going to be outgunned a little bit, probably, no matter what. Because
you just never know. You know, there's sometimes you show up at a tournament, and if we just said it was this tournament right here in North Carolina is going to be the USA team's selection for the women's 51 kilo. And maybe only 2 girls show up.
No, it doesn't make sense.
And they're local, and then they don't get to go against the East Coast girls or the West Coast girls. Then that would be kind of like, so we're going to make the announcement soon, have like give everybody a ton of notice. And I think it'll be something really cool, man. I would love to watch and because we have some good people working with the athletic commission, it's going to be a semi-pro invitational. So
that's awesome. Where are you guys thinking about doing it?
Colorado.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, that's awesome. So you even a little bit more of a test there too. See who's got the lungs for it. You know?
It's because there's some other places I'd like to do. It's just that the commissions are all like, we're just so far behind over here with this pro and amateur thing. It's so stupid.
Yeah, for sure.
They're just not. Oh, I'm not comfortable with professionals fighting amateurs, but they're wearing the gear. You know, it's an amateur rule set. You know, they're doing the IFMA stuff because they have to fight multiple fights, and it's Muay Thai. You know, we don't want them to get a cut in their very first fight. They were dominating, and now they can't advance in this qualifier. You know, that's what the whole thing is about IFMA anyway. Think about Muay Thai, man. It's brutal. You can't have no gear over 7 days. Like if you're in the, you're in like the, like Super Bonds weight class, they got to fight like 5 times over, 7 days or something like that. And it's like, dude, let get rid of stop with this gear stuff, man. You've been there. It's not even gear. It's like a sock. It's like, it's a red sock.
It means nothing. It's nothing. Yeah. Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, for sure. When people come into my gym for sparring, I'm like, you get the fuck out of here with those socks. You better go get some real shin guards. That's not what we practice in, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, hell no. Those things are like, I feel like all those things do is make you feel confident enough to like, I'm gonna rip these kicks because you got a little bit of padding on.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna let these things fly.
Just enough to not let your like shin split open or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Off the checks and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, we've been really quiet. It's like it just sucks because I'm always like wanting to do something, but this, COVID stuff has been crazy, and now I'm pretty sure we got everything's green light for 2022, which is I believe in June of 2022. Having all these like top-notch athletes from all these countries here, we got to have a squad, man. The USA
Yeah,
can't come in there and get swept and cleaned up. No,
I know.
we got to have a squad.
Yeah, it's that's exciting though. Hopefully I'm sure that process I think is not only the fairest way to do it, but the smartest way to do it for sure.
Yeah,
Let let people fight for it. And I'd say I did when we first got back from Belarus, and I did the Striking Corner podcast, and I told them on there, I was like, man, you guys don't get it. Like, and this is coming from somebody who before didn't, I felt was verbally like, I don't understand the process to get on the team and stuff like that. And then after going was like, yeah, look, just accept how it's being done, because it's you don't understand what you're asking for.
yeah.
I
I mean,
think
people
people
get
just,
pissed off.
yeah,
I know some people. They'll comment on stuff all the time, and they can always private message me. I don't know why they make the little public comments they do.
right,
Like,
right,
everyone can message me. Anyone listening to this, you can still message me.
yeah,
And like if if you're struggling with some people in the U.S., if you're struggling with some people in the North America, we try to put people in like the Pan Americans or the South American games. And if you're getting cleaned up in that, just got to go back and get more experience.
yeah,
You know, uh, don't take it as like I don't like you. The USA team doesn't want you on there, or we got some kind of conspiracy against your gym or nothing. What do you think? Do you think I don't want to have the best athletes represented? You don't think I want
right,
to have medals? Like we all want to. It's America, man. We want our team to do the best, and it's just been a hard thing. We've tried a lot of different things in the years I've been here. We've done having a tournament be a qualifier. That was not a good.
yeah,
We've done just a selection committee by people I think are very reputable and knowledgeable people, and
mhm,
uh, we bring some people on and they they're outvoted and they get upset, and just different things. It's one of those things you don't know until you go. Like you
yeah,
got to go and see it, and then trust that the guys that we have on these committees, they're on there for a reason. You
yeah,
can't. How could you go against people that run the biggest tournaments in America who
right,
are on the committee? How could you go against the people that have athletes on winning one championship, world titles?
yeah,
How can you go against the guy that's made the most junior gold medalists? Like nobody's like, I don't know, understand why they're like
yeah,
so the last thing is we're going to do something like what we're doing here is we're going to do a panel. We're going to basically it's going to be an activity. If you're not active, you can't be on the active top 8 or whatever.
right,
And I think it'll be cool. I think rankings are really hard to do in America. That's why it's never been done really.
mhm,
All these different ABC organizations ask me about rankings, and I was like, it's too hard because there's not enough activity. You
mhm,
got some people doing glory kickboxing because that's the only show in town, or you got this other guy that he's awesome in Muay Thai, but he's living in Thailand and he's not competing with the Americans.
yeah,
So is he automatically number one? You know what I mean? There's so many
yeah, for sure,
variables, and not enough activity. So it's difficult to do that. So I think what we're doing is going to be good, and we'll let them fight it out. Top 8, do an 8-woman tournament and see who's the best.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. That's results will be results, you know.
Yeah.
How did taking the role of president come about for the USMF?
I was a coach on the 2016 team,
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of like, like it was a very small team, and it was a good, some good athletes on the team, like Zach Bonnell, Troy Jones. There was good guys on the team. Iron Boy, Mike Triana.
Triana. I think Jess was on that team too, right?
Yeah, there was some good people, but it was all kind of put together late. After it, like when I was there, they were saying basically in the next coming months, this was just before they were basically going to get provisional Olympic recognition. And they basically said all countries that are not up online with these things of like the Olympic charter and code, we'd have to pass it on to another organization or something in in your country that can get up to that level.
Right.
I was looking at this. I was in this meeting. I was like, we don't have that. We don't have that. What the?
Right.
I was like, shit. I need to go back and do something about this. And so I was like, when's this next election? Let's.
Yeah.
I'm in. You know what I mean? 2016, I got elected, and from there, it's just been. I'm supposed to be up for re-election in 2020, but it's like pushed a year because of the COVID. So I'm going to be up again for this year.
Yeah.
Where I have like a call to election thing, and I don't know anybody want to take this job, but it can please take it. Yeah. So I do, like, all you guys that complain about the teams and complain about all this shit. It's like, dude, I do this for free. I do not make any money. No one makes money on it.
Mm-hmm.
We recompensate the officials that teach those educational courses and stuff like that. But I'm not making no money, man. Don't think I'm doing this. I'm doing this to grow USA Muay Thai, and like the whole, the rising tide raises all the ships kind of thing is how I'm investing into this. This is going to be good for all of our gyms, my gym, everyone's gym. If I can stay invested and grow this thing. So, yeah, I'm gonna try for run again for re-election and take this into the World Games, and that'll be it. That'll be my last ride. This next term will be.
And then somebody's gonna have to figure it out next, huh?
Pass the torch to somebody, and I'll be. I think I'm really excited for the World Games.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
We have a lot of youth athletes that are awesome. They've been tearing it up, and then we have a lot of women in the USA that are just on another level.
Yeah.
So I think we could, turn some heads at the World Games. It'll be cool.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was one of my next things is that since you've taken over the youth teams have been crushing it, I feel like. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I think it's just like kind of goes back to when I first took over, I opened the doors to everyone that felt like the doors were closed. Like they couldn't be a part of USMF and they couldn't be a part of all this. And I kind of get where they were coming from because it wasn't really like an open line. There wasn't like a way to communicate to the USA teams. They were very regionalized and kind of who type of things. Whereas I'm like, you can contact me.
Yeah.
Let me see what you have. Send me your video. I'll send it to the selection committee right now. Let's go.
Right.
But I just brought in people that I know are good.
Yeah.
Bring in great youth coaches. Bring in good adult coaches. Like people that have the proof in their work. Not some guy that has a bunch of things on their wall like me behind me. There's a bunch of things on their wall. Freaking 14th Dawn crew, whatever.
Yeah.
What I mean? Yeah. So I'm like, I brought in good people, and like when you bring all these people together and then you get them the international exposure, man, it's just everybody's leveled up from there. Because what do you do? Like any good coach, like when their athlete gets beat or when they see all that stuff, they're just like, leveling up every time, So every year, we've gotten better every year. Um, the adult teams have been always tough, but I think it's this next year or two that these young athletes that have gotten 20 or 30 fights by the time they're 18, which is something unheard of for me in Muay Thai back in the day,
Yeah.
they're gonna be great, you know. That's the whole thing with youth development league and then getting more tournaments going in America is like, man, maybe these kids will have 50 or 60 fights before they're 18. Then when they're an adult, they're gonna be, good.
Right. And then also it was good. It was kind of cool timing too, because the change came with the B class for the guys. I feel like especially that was like kind of a blow to us in a way. I feel like only for the people that, because in the US, not everyone's starting as a kid. So
Yeah,
you have some guys that are like really good that are like 24 that
yeah.
aren't nowhere near A class level, but it's like, well, they might do all right at B class. Let's give them a shot and take them over there. They've been winning some tournaments and doing some stuff, and then they changed that the
Oh, they're
age and stuff like
23.
that, and then it's
Yeah,
just like, oh, dagger.
yeah,
But like I said, luckily you had the foresight to like really put a lot of emphasis on getting the youth, so that those will be the
yeah.
people that, and that, I mean, that's ultimately IFMA's goal, right? Was to kind of try to streamline the process of making sure the
Yeah,
youth, and then the B, and then A.
yeah, and then to make it a real global sport, it would be tough for you know if these kids aren't getting experience in their youth. If they're gonna take on, if we didn't have a youth world championship, it'd be really hard for our adult athletes to take on the Belarus, Russias, and Thailands
Mhm.
if they're not getting that international experience in their youth.
Yeah.
If you're not getting that experience in their youth and they're first getting their taste of it at 18, 19, it's not good.
Right, right.
So yeah, it's great, man. I look forward to the kids, man. The kids tournament is just it's crazy. Like the skill level, like some of these like 12-year-old kids are like a fight is won and lost off of like one kick. Like it's so like technical and like pop, 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 pop,
Yeah.
knee. Oh man, it's like one shot. And I'm like, holy shit, this is good.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I love
exciting.
watching these ones. Yeah.
That's exciting. And we have, like I said, we get the YDLs back up and running again here soon. Get them all back on track. I had the opportunity to go to one of the ones Charlie ran here on the East Coast. Charlie Catone from Eight Limbs.
Yeah.
He ran a couple. We sent our girls to two of them. One of them I was at, and then the other one, I think I was away for a fight or something already, and then we sent one of the assistant coaches to go. But it's exciting. It's exciting because they have that, the way that it's set up. Um, their first one, no head contact, and it's like a education class, the E class or whatever, and it makes it. I feel like it makes it something that the kids are be like, oh, I'll do that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they'll like, I go in there and just throw some kicks and
Yeah.
then practice on
Yeah.
it, and
That's
not
if
worry,
you
like you
guys
said,
like
worry about getting blasted in the head and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, man. Gym owners is tough. We got there's grappling tournaments like every other weekend, and
Mhm.
we got to have something for our kids to do,
Yeah.
or we'll lose them to volleyball, we'll lose them to Jiu
Right.
Jitsu, lose them to everything.
Yeah.
Muay Thai's got to have something like this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I told Patrick a long time ago that I definitely would like to get him here, because that's something I would try to do every other month or something, probably once we get going, just to,
Yeah.
'cause we actually, our youth program's going right now. We've been mostly focusing on boxing, but I think when we start doing some stuff like that, it'll be easy to get them to make that transition, because they'll see it and it's tangible, and probably better, even head wise longevity than boxing anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
They start those kids off, just rock them, sock them right off the brack.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the adult teams have had some great years since you took over too. Like you said, my first experience was in Belarus. That was an awesome team. We had a lot of fun. Definitely opened my eyes big time to the level just seeing so many really high level fighters fighting each other all in one place was a huge eye opener for sure.
Yeah.
I think we luck I one of the things I've always tried to do at every tournament, right when we get there and it starts, is I always try to go watch as many fights as I can, like right at the beginning, to kind of, because I feel like no matter what, so far, this IFMA is probably the one tournament where what you guys were telling us was how you win was actually how you win, you know? But I feel like, a lot of times you go to the tournaments and just shows or anything, and they're like, okay, they like do the rules meeting, and then you go out and you watch two fights. I'm like, that's like not at all what we just said back there about how
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know. So I always would try to like watch and just hope, hopefully see if I could understand like how it's going and how they're seeing it and how they're scoring it.
Mm.
Um, and then you are like, okay, I got to go back, and if it's Aaron or whoever, and be like, listen, we got to make sure we're doing this. We got to make sure we're doing that. And that's one
Yeah,
of the things
I
I
had
like about
something
that.
when I first went. I had no idea, and I was just sitting in the back, and I was like sitting next to Team Thailand hitting pads and Team Russia hitting pads, and I'm thinking there as like a young man, I'm sitting there like, whoa, what the fuck did I get into? What the fuck is going on? Like, I think Kyrian came up to me and was like, "Hey, dude, why don't you go out there and watch some of the fights? You'll see that you're supposed to be here, man. You
Yeah.
belong here." I go out
Yeah.
there and
Yeah.
I watch the fights. I'm like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, man. I'll whoop that dude."
Yeah.
I felt a lot better. Like I was like, "Shit, this is what I get myself into." But then you go out
Right.
there and watch the fights, you feel a lot better, and you can. I mean, it's tough, but like you don't, you know, it's an experience, man. So you got to get all that. This is the stuff you got to experience. You got to go
Yeah.
experience the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. We since for years, I think like 20, maybe 2014, I think was when we really, like, Aaron and I kind of started like mentally thinking about eventually being on the USMF team, and what we had to do to like to get there and stuff like that. And then she got that opportunity to go in 2017 in Belarus. And then um yeah, I remember I have a photo of her like looking at the ring, like when we first got to the venue and everything, and it was just like, oh shit, all right, here we are, here we go. We gotta just get in there and just do our best. I think we got Hong Kong first, which isn't like a really, they don't that I know of, they don't usually bring like a real killer team or anything like that. But that girl was a banger though. Like she was
Yeah.
like the same type of fighter as Aaron, like lots of punches, like super aggressive. And we got through that one, got the win there, and then she had to fight a girl from Turkey that had beat Candice Mitchell. So I'm like, so in my mind, I'm doing like the math of like, fuck, like I know Candice is up here and this girl beat Candice. So, you got to like not
Yeah.
get into that game either in your mind, and just be like, all right, well, we just got to stick to what we're going to do. And I remember she kept tying Candice up in the clinch, and she had this weird, like, almost like she was going to judo hip toss her, but she never threw her. She just kind of like wrapped around her head and like broke her posture.
Yeah.
And the ref never really did, would just break her and never really did anything about it. So I remember telling Aaron, I'm like, all right, listen, when she grabs your head, we're going to try to like walk around and knee her in the face and see if we can get a knee from there, and just try to like turn that position into a good position for us. Like if she breaks your posture, just start trying to throw the knees, so it's not like a resting thing. It's such a chess game too,
Yeah,
like,
this is stuff you don't get at a show in America or at a tournament in America.
mm-mm.
You're getting to watch high level athletes, and then just like what you were saying, you start playing mental games with yourself. You're like, fighter A beats fighter B here, then I can do this. Yeah, it's all
Yeah. Yeah.
some warfare.
It really is mental warfare. And then I remember was Patricia, who Aaron fought in the finals that year. She had fought the girl Salsing from Thailand, and I thought that Salsing won that fight, um, their like last fight before the finals, and but the win went to Patricia. So there was definitely there's always like some learning to do as coaches too, like understanding the scoring a little bit more.
Yeah,
There's always some small elements, sometimes things that I felt like I still always had a lot more to learn to
yeah,
understand the scoring and stuff like that. But yeah, I think overall Aaron got the silver. Janet got a bronze that year. Janet had like a super tough road as always.
but
Then
yeah. I
Emilio
got
got a
to
silver
corner
that
her in
year.
the fight versus Russia. She did like a step off hook to the neck kick. That was
Yeah,
nasty.
beautiful, beautiful.
Whew.
Yeah, she got we call that, so we use the like a check hook obviously, but we call it the check hook defensively a little bit more, but the aggressive like forward like jab into the step off hook, we just call that the JT now. We pay homage to Miss Janet for her moves, and
Yeah,
Brian obviously for his moves as well too.
man, that was
Um
a crazy fight. You had like the Belarus army was doing like these chants with the crowds. It's like there was Team Russia, but they're like brother sister country things,
right.
speak the same language and whatnot. And when she was fighting, the crowd was just like like
Yeah.
doing chants and stuff, and then it was just like boom. I was like, oh, wow. It was, yeah, just the crowd was like, good man. It
Silent.
was an awesome experience.
Yeah, that's a whole other element that again you don't understand. I feel like really until you're there, like to see a full team,
Yeah,
right behind that barrier, like the whole freaking team literally there screaming for their teammate, trying to, cheer them on and help them kind of push through those hard fights and stuff like that
yeah,
is a whole nother experience too.
yeah.
And then when we had Mexico City was a good year too, and for Pan Am's, had a bunch of gold medals
Oh yeah,
there.
yeah. Pan Am's we usually do pretty well at. Yeah,
I guess that without the European countries, we seem to be able to do a little better. Still got
yeah,
Peru and some other countries that are you got to watch out for, but yeah, you seem to have had a lot of success at Pan Am's with the team since you took over too.
yeah. I'm just glad that we can put our athletes in opportunities. I don't think there wasn't that many opportunities back then. So we just when they pop up, I just make sure that we can put together a team and get them that experience. Because I know that the more experience these guys get, they're gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
Hopefully, once all this stuff gets passed over soon, I think I have a meeting with IFMA this week, and they're going to hopefully announce the youth and adult championships this year. I'm crossing my fingers that they
oh
have
man,
uh,
yeah.
a definite because we need it.
Yeah, because last year was they did the virtual stuff. They had like
Yeah, just
the
fun for the kid type of thing. But
yeah.
I mean, as you are, like I'm burned out on Zoom and virtual
Mhm.
classes, Muay Thai. I don't want nothing to do with that again. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore. So I'm excited. Hopefully, they can get us a date soon because we're already coming up on April here. So got to start
Yeah, shit.
putting together a squad.
So that would be for 2022 or 2021?
No, this year, end of this year.
Okay.
Talking maybe like end of the summer, beginning of the end of the summer for maybe the youth, and then the end of the year for the adults.
Oh,
Maybe,
that's exciting.
hopefully, yeah,
Yeah. They got to find the country and all that stuff still too. I
yeah,
guess they're probably working on that right now, huh?
yeah,
Because I know traveling to Thailand's hard right now, so that's
yeah.
probably
They're
out.
still in the 2-week quarantine thing,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I just
Man.
ain't gonna be there for a little bit. Hopefully
No.
by the end of the year.
Like, all right, guys, who wants to go? Can you also be gone for a month?
Yeah,
um, yeah, man, that's and then I know another thing that I want to reach out to JJ too and do another judge and ref certification here again because we did one a couple of years ago and we had a good turnout for that.
cool.
And I need to get on doing my next levels too and stuff like that. So I want to reach out and talk to him a little bit about that. But I know those are really good ways for people to kind of learn what
I
they
think
need to
they help
know.
a lot, man. I think
Yeah.
they help with coaches a lot. I think coaches definitely got to go to these things and not think of them as, I'm not going to ref or judge. It's not about being ref or judge. It's more,
Right.
that's why we renamed the thing called an education course.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in the workings right now of basically anyone who signs up with USMF is going to get a free education course.
Mhm.
And that's what we're kind of working on right now. Cause you've been to the tournaments where you hear people yelling the most crazy things,
Yeah.
wondering why they lost, and they got completely outclassed, and they're like, "What the hell is this, man?"
Yeah, yeah. I threw body kicks the whole time. They showed no effect, and they were all with the foot. But
Yeah, man, that's gonna be good. And it's been kind of taking a little breaks. It's like with all this COVID stuff, but man, we just got to get right back to work, man. It's just been frustrating, but once they open up, we're good. I gotta
Yeah.
get this back rolling,
Yeah, that's why I'm glad we got to catch up now, because it kind of helps me too. Just talking about stuff that's coming up, and kind of gives me an idea of like where I need to start, when I need to start focusing on stuff more. And I'm, like you said, I started trying to run the smokers, and I wanted to reach out to you guys about the educational course and stuff like that too, and just kind of what stuff that we can do right now. Start trying to get stuff like that lined up now, so that way we can kind of move right back into getting back to work and all that.
Yeah. I have a question for you, man.
Yes, sir.
What's on the playlist at the Level Up right now?
Bro, literally my next thing says hip hop, and what are you listening to right now? That's awesome. That's how I was like, because I'm like, all right, cool, we're done with all the fight shit. Let's talk hip hop. Man, are you that latest Benny the Butcher album, man? Been really digging that.
Harry Fraud,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, man, sick. All the Griselda stuff, man. Conway, West Side Gun, like
Yeah.
that's what I've been digging. I like I'm still stuck in the 90s, so I'm like listening to all the stuff that still sounds like that, like anything Apollo Brown produces, like.
Yeah, I like that. I have if it's got to be people that are like now new age, I guess it's got to be like Griselda, like you're saying. But if it's like, I still like some of the old dudes still trying to do stuff, as long as they're not like trying to put out some, changing their game type of stuff.
Right.
So I'm good with it. But my stuff is still the same. I have my list here. It's like, when like Spotify tells you like what you played the most of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Gangstar, Sean Price, Army of the Pharaohs, Jedi Mind Tricks, Wu-Tang. And I'm like, when I say Wu-Tang, it's mostly like everyone's albums. The group albums are good, but I always like Ghostface solo albums.
Yeah,
I like
he's the best. He's got the best
solos albums. Man, Inspector Deck, we talked about this. His solo albums weren't that good, but his stuff he did with Czarface, with Esoteric, the Czarface albums,
amazing.
those are awesome.
Yeah.
Kill the Priest,
yeah, man, I love
Capadonna, I like all the guys that like they did their own solo. I feel like I like those more than like the group albums. Am I wrong for saying that?
No, I feel like the group albums fell flat a lot of times. I mean, obviously the first one's a classic.
The first two.
The second one was a classic. We got the double album out of that, and then after that, it was always like, there's a couple bangers on there, and obviously it's Wu-Tang, so I'm gonna listen to it. But yeah, it was. I think the smartest thing RZA ever did was being like, man, we're gonna get everybody hype about this group, and then let you guys like go out and expand on your own thing, and then they kind of hooked us with that first album, and then got us following them all for after that.
Yeah, man. I do a lot of educating at my school, not just with Muay Thai, but on hip hop. So if you come
you got
join
to.
Heritage Muay Thai, I'm gonna, because I throw in some Houston stuff. You got to play a little Houston stuff every now and then.
Right.
Play like some old school Houston stuff, but a lot of my stuff is the hip hop, and a lot of the people are like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
When it was like, I did like a tribute week, when the villain passed, I played like all this stuff, and everybody's like, "Coach, what's this? Who is this guy?"
I'm yeah. You're like, oh, nah, that's it. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
it's like,
feel like it's rare. It's rare that you play him and people, no matter what type of hip hop they're into. I feel like everybody fucked with MF Doom. He was,
yeah,
I think he was really everyone's favorite rapper's favorite rapper for sure.
yeah. I just put together. I was like, man, I don't know. I'd always have like one or two of his tracks in like my stuff, but then I was like, man, he's got enough to make just a straight
He
MF
does.
Doom. Like he's got all of his different like he did like the Danger Doom. He did like
Yep.
the
Victor Vaughn
Victor
stuff.
Vaughn.
Mhm.
Yeah, just like man, this is good stuff. He did the what's the one with Mad Villain? Yeah,
Yeah,
he did.
Matt Villainy. That's always been my favorite one. Even though I know a lot of people like a lot of hip hop heads would be like that, like that's like the easiest one to like, so that's
Yeah.
bullshit. But man, there's just literally from start to finish, that album is just incredible
You
to
know
me.
what him and Sean Price, like my favorites that they both share, is that every time that they're on a feature, they kill it.
Yeah,
They kill features, but like their albums are good. I always love their albums, but
right.
if you put together an album of their features, dude, like Sean Price, like on a couple of Apollo Brown things,
Yep.
Sean Price on the Wu Tang thing, Sean
Hmm.
Price on like he kills everything.
Yeah, even
Oh,
in Helter Skelter.
Sean Price on the old Jedi Mind stuff,
Yep.
dude, he kills those songs. But like his album's got like three or four like straight,
Yeah.
but then
He,
like some of them are like,
I feel like he was another one of those guys that like Inspector Deck that just kind of felt a victim to not always having the best beats.
yeah,
I think we talked about like
yeah,
if he had had like a full Apollo Brown produced album, like it probably would have been one of the greatest albums of all time if he had the
yeah,
right producer with him.
yeah,
Because yeah, he always, what I one of my favorite things to listen when I want to listen to Sean Price is Random X, and
uh,
it's the same thing where it's like, okay, there's he's only on one verse at each song, but they had some great beats on that last album they did. So yeah, I definitely feel you on that one, man. I feel like Sean Price is definitely one of those guys that just didn't get the shine that he deserved either, but probably went back to producing a little bit sometimes too.
yeah, yeah, man. We do some education here in hip hop out here at
You
the
got
Heritage
to,
Hip
man.
Hop, man.
You gotta, yeah, because I at one point, what's funny is I actually got a little depressed a few months ago because I was like, damn, I was like, I'm at the age now where like I'm one of the, because I feel like no matter what, at some point in your life, like you hit an age where you're like, what is this bullshit you're listening to? Because I heard that growing up when I was first started listening to hip hop and stuff. Like my grandfather would drive me somewhere and I'd throw like a Wu-Tang tape in there with all. He's like, what is this shit? Because he listens to like classical music, so it just probably
Yeah,
sounds super crazy to him. But I was like, man, I just reached this point where I felt like I was having a hard time finding anything new that I wanted to listen to, and it was like depressing because I'm like, shit. So I'm like, is the hip hop that I have right now all I get for the rest of my life now? Am I never? And then it was funny because like maybe 2 days later that most recent Busta Rhymes album came out, and I was like,
yeah.
oh, thank God. I was like, all right, we're not there yet. I was
Well,
like,
it's it's the old guys that still do songs that I'm like. I liked a few of like Jay Electronica finally released an
yeah,
album. It was
yeah.
basically like a Jay-Z album too,
Yeah,
but
I know, that was
I,
crazy.
I like that. But I mean, those guys are in their late 40s. I'm pretty sure,
Gotta
and
be.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm I still would listen to Scarface if he came out with an album right now. Like
Mhm.
I'm like the younger. I'm not really into any of the stuff right now, to be honest. But yeah, a lot of stuff I listen to like is having like this album came out 28 years ago today, and I'm like, what?
Man. Yeah, it's like how I'm
Like
like, you don't even
really?
realize how old you are until people say shit like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Yeah, I'm the same way. I have an album that's just it's I have one playlist on I just use the iTunes music. I need to get on Spotify because I need to put this on Spotify too. I've been bullshitting. But yeah, I have one. I made one. think last year of like all my favorite like 1992 to like 95 stuff, and I slowly am always like, oh damn, I remember this, and like add that to it. And
Yeah.
was bumping that again for a couple of
They do
weeks. And
that thing in Spotify where it's like when you put together a playlist, it'll put like a suggested song that should be added to it, and you're like, "Oh, damn, yeah,
shit.
yeah."
All right, yeah, I need to get on Spotify because Apple definitely isn't helping me out like that. The one thing it makes like a Jason's radio thing on
Yeah,
my, and that actually is surprisingly all right. I'm like, oh, I guess it is paying attention because I feel like I'd clicked on it a couple times before, and I don't like any of this bullshit. iTunes doesn't know what's going on, but recently it's been doing better, I guess. Picking some stuff, and I've been moving some of those songs to like my playlist. And yeah, man, I have, and then I have one that's just like jumps around a little bit, but that's pretty much like the playlist that we're almost always listening to in class. I'm sure people are probably sick of it, but I'm like, I don't want to listen to any of this other shit that comes out half the time now anyway. I
yeah.
think
We play some of the new stuff. I don't make that playlist for like the cardio kickboxing class
right.
because you gotta get them hype, and I don't.
Yeah.
They'll know if I'm teaching if they, they hear the radio.
Right.
Like I'm like I do like in the morning. I go to like a boutique boxing gym, a Loose Reese's gym,
Mm,
and I put together this playlist that I thought was like fire, and there's like
yeah.
2 songs in, like the warm up. And this lady's like, "What is this song we're playing?" I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? This playlist is the shit."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Man, I guess people aren't feeling this right now, but whatever."
Yeah, I guess you got to know your audience.
Yeah,
For a cardio class, some of the, because you got some stuff like some of the old like a Black Moon, like Who Got the Props or something like that, or how many MCs it like slows down a little bit. It's like not really like hard training music unless you're just into it like we are. Then we're like, oh shit, yeah, how many MCs must get this? And we're
no, they want to
ripping
hear
those
some.
body shots.
They want to hear some trap mumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't I've been struggling with I always try to like check some of the stuff out. But it's tough, man. It just is what it is, It's different tastes, and I think it's just always going to be like that. I'm curious to see like what the next iteration is. Like is it going to go back to, because I feel like lyrics is just over. I feel like there's no such thing as like lyrics anymore when it comes to a lot of the newer stuff. Because
Yeah,
I've listened to enough of it where I'm like, none of these motherfuckers can actually rap though.
yeah, I'll give props that some of the beats are really hard, but the
Yeah,
lyricism is straight dead. Yeah, it's
yeah.
done.
I think the one guy I actually do kind of dig a little bit that's newer is Travis Scott, and I
Mm.
think it mostly is just how I like the way he produces the stuff though. Like you said, like it's not probably couldn't even tell you half the stuff that he's saying, but I like the way he
I
you
feel
know
like I don't know.
puts it together,
I feel
constructs
like he's
everything.
I don't know. He sounds like like a rapper mixed with T-Pain. Like he's got like an auto tune thing
He
to him.
definitely has some kind of auto tune
Like
thing on
he's
there.
not just
Yeah,
rapping, so I'm
yeah,
not interested.
yeah, yeah,
He's got some cool beats. I know on some of the stuff I've heard is okay, but
yeah. Yeah, I'm not checking for him though either. Yeah, same thing. Same
yeah.
thing. Yeah, that's tough, man. What about movies? You got any seen anything good lately? I know you're a big movie guy too.
Man, to be honest, I've been watching a lot of just old stuff, man. I like to run it back, like I run back a lot of stuff I've uh seen, and like I remember it's like I was showing a lot of people like stuff at my gym, like some of the youngsters are like, "What? Y'all gotta watch this movie. Y'all gotta watch this
Yeah.
movie." And they're like, "Coach, all the movies you're suggesting are all very violent." I'm like, "Yeah,
That's how I like my hip hop. That's how I
yeah,
like my movies, damn it.
yeah." When I'm coaching, like when I'm getting in the zone for like a big fight, like the week before the fight, I have like movies that I like
Yeah.
play, like, where it's like a you know like something like Gladiator or like
Yeah.
a
Cinderella
movie I
Man.
like is I like it's like kind of like I like Collateral. I
Oh
like
yeah,
Tom
Collateral's
Cruise. He's a
dope.
bad motherfucker in that movie. I like these are like those movies that aren't so, that people talk about. So like Collateral, um, shit. What's the one where they just did a remake, or not a remake, they did the sequel to it. Sicario. I like
Oh yeah,
Sicario.
man.
Yeah,
The
I love
first one of
Sicario.
that is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I
That's
love
such a
the
dope
music
movie.
to it and everything. It like gets you
Very
like,
ominous.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Becca came out to the Sicario
I
theme.
remember. Yeah, yeah. Cause I'm, you know me, I'm like a cinephile. So I'm like, oh shit. I got excited. I was like, damn, it probably was lost on a lot of people. So did she see the movie and was into
No,
it, or were
I
you
was
just
like,
like, this is what
I
you're
was
coming
like,
out to?
I'm like, because I'm trying to tell them, like, like you gotta. I was like, man, I like to get my mind in that zone. That this is
Yeah.
some violence about to take down. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch
Yeah.
these movies, and you got to play like Equalizer. Like
Yeah.
Denzel. I mean,
Yeah.
just taking out everybody. And I was like, watch Sicario. Tell me what you think. She's like, it was okay. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
but the songs, the lyrics, you're like,
Yeah. 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 Trying to get them into it. Yeah. I always have, I have like a few movies that I feel like are a little bit more niche that I always recommend to people like that. Like True Romance is like my favorite movie of all time.
That's
That
good.
one, written by Quentin Tarantino. That was like the first. I think that was like because I know he wrote Natural Born. I think he wrote Natural Born Killers first,
Mm.
and then kind of like excused himself from that or something. He had like a falling out with Oliver Stone, and then so he wasn't really like super credited with that, but he wrote for sure True Romance, and that I think that's one of the best movies of all time. My man, Gary Oldman, I think who's the goat of acting. I think he's like
He's
one of the
pretty
best
damn
to
good.
ever do it.
Yeah,
Him and Vincent
I got like
D'Onofrio, those are my two guys.
I have like some old stuff I like. I like a lot of old Paul Newman
Yeah,
movies, The Hustler,
yeah,
HUD, Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, The Sting. All those are like Cool Hand Luke. All
yeah.
those
Cool
are
Hand
like
Luke is
classics.
vicious.
That's Paul Newman's probably my favorite actor. Me and Ogden, I went to go corner him at one championship, and me and him are like listening to a lot of the same hip hop, and
Yeah,
then like he's like the same way. Got to watch some. He's like a violent westerns. Watch some
nice.
old spaghetti westerns or some
Yeah,
violent
Wild
westerns.
Bunch.
Yeah, we're watching some stuff like that. Get in the zone,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, that's good, man. Those old westerns are always money. My grandfather put me onto those, stuff he grew up watching. And when I think they, forget what year it was. It was mid '90s or something like that. They had like released the original version of the Wild Bunch that they
Mhm.
had to like cut because I guess when it first came out, like it was just so
Yeah,
brutal, like how many people got killed with like the Gatling gun or whatever. So they like
yeah.
cut a big chunk of footage out of that, and they like released it. We went and saw it at like the Kennedy Center. It was like going to the theater and shit. But we went and saw that, and then that became one of my favorite movies too from that genre, with all the extra violence in it. Have you ever seen Way of the Gun? That's another one of my like slept on favorites.
Yeah, that's the one with
Ryan
Benicio
Phillippe
del
and
Toro
Benicio.
and
Yeah.
Felipe. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
That's a
love
good.
that one too. I always recommend that one to people because that's like I liked I love it when, because I'm actually for the most part, like I always watch movies like escape, like I don't like I want to like not think about anything for a little while and just like get in the zone.
Mm.
So I'm not like a big stickler, like like people will watch like a comic book movie and be like, yeah, but how did he hurt that guy with a bomb or something? And I'm like,
Yeah.
so hold on, you accept that this motherfucker can fly around and do all this shit, but you don't accept that he could get hurt with a bomb. Like, how does your brain even go there? Like when you're, but then sometimes there's those movies like Way of the Gun. I just use as an example where they like you can tell like they were like everything was very precise. Like
Mm.
that car chase scene where they cut the corner and then they both put their feet out of the side and they're like going kind of slow, and then like even like the gunfight at the end, you could tell like they took Benicio and Ryan through like some actual CQC training because the way they like took the corners and like made sure not to cross each other's fire. And then even like my favorite part is when Ryan's like, he's like running because he's like getting shot at, and he like dives into this fountain, and there's like full of glass bottles, and he gets all fucked up, and it's like just like little shit like that where you're like,
realist.
and then, yeah, in the normal movie they just dive in there and they load up and
Roll
jump back
out,
in.
like
Yeah,
perfect.
perfect, everything's cool, nothing happened. And yeah, the fact that he dove in there and got all fucked up on some glass beer bottles was like stuff like that. I always really dig, like when I get sucked all the way into the movie.
Yeah, yeah, man. That's that's a good one there. I have also they got to have the score with it. So like my
Mhm.
last one I'm gonna drop here is Last of the Mohicans. You know what
Oh
I'm
man.
saying? When he's
Oh
running up the
man.
mountain,
Yeah. The last kiss.
the last thing he hits the barrel roll on the dude. And go, "Bah!"
Bro, that's like that's probably one of the greatest like pieces of music ever made in film, I think.
Yeah, that thing is that right there. I could just watch like that last 15 minutes, like before before I
Yeah.
go walk out with my fighter.
Yeah. Hell yeah. No, that's a really, really, really good one. That it's awesome when they are able to combine like that. I feel like Chris Nolan has always done a really good job with that
Yeah,
too. Like he
I
he
think he
he always
uses was it Hans Zimmer? I
Hans
think is who
Zimmer,
he uses.
yeah. Yeah, because the one Inception, the music from Inception, like without that music it's not the same
Yeah.
movie. Interstellar was the same way too. Yeah, he's all, even Batman, obviously the Batman movies. Yeah, he's him and Hans got something special when
Yeah.
they linked up for sure. Yeah. It's
So
been that's I think that's honestly probably been the probably one of the shittiest parts of this whole pandemic for me, is because I look forward to the release of new movies and stuff like that. Like that's like a mentally, it's just like a big part of like how I unwind from all
yeah,
the stuff that we deal with, and then losing that I think has been really, really difficult too. Just it's part of like our mental therapy to like be able to sit down
yeah,
and watch those movies.
yeah. That's why I rotate on those classics.
Yeah, so yeah, that's, yeah, 100%. You had to go back and find. Did you ever watch the show Preacher?
I don't think so.
I think you would like that. I was gonna tell you, I feel like you would like. It's definitely got like a. It starts off in Texas. It's got kind of a. His name's Jesse, and he's got kind of like a cowboy swag. I think you would dig that. You should
I'm gonna
check it
write
out.
that one down.
Yeah, it's got
Preacher.
4 seasons too, so it could eat up some time for you. Um, it's pretty dope. Yeah, he's a guy who's got like had a really rough childhood. I don't want to give away too much, and he's like running a church that used to be his father's, and he has a criminal past. Like he'd been a criminal for a long time, and he just something came up, and he just decided he was gonna try to do better, and just decides to become a preacher.
Yeah,
And then he gets this power like from God basically, where he can just whatever he says people will do. He has like the word of God, and then he just dealing with that and all the forces and stuff coming. Yeah, it's really sick. I think you'll like it a
yeah.
lot.
I'll check that out
Check
for
it out.
sure.
I think it's all on Hulu.
Hulu.
Yeah, the whole
Okay.
thing on Hulu. Yeah. If you need a Hulu plug, let me know. I got you. But that's it. That's it, and that's all I got for you. I don't want to keep you all day.
I got
Um,
one thing before I
yeah, what you
depart.
got?
We ain't gonna talk about it. They just need to go to Amazon, get,
Hey,
get that book, um, and drop a review. Just drop a review. It doesn't even have to be anything. Just say great book, great guy,
he's
great
awesome.
podcast. You know what
He's
I'm saying?
Irish. Yeah.
Just do something on there. Yeah, it's been going pretty good, and I'd like to hear more feedback. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So just to anybody out there that's read it. A lot of
I
people
read it.
are.
I thought it was great, by the way. And I'm pretty sure I left a review too. But if I didn't, I will today. Yeah.
Yeah, I tell them I try to bribe people. I'm like, man, you want a pad session? They're like, yeah, man. I'm like, you gotta leave a review.
No, it was an awesome book. I'm sorry for not mentioning it earlier.
No,
I'm
no, no.
glad you
I don't.
dropped it
I don't.
before
I
we
don't
left.
want to talk about that anymore. It's like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're probably tired of it now. But I was gonna put a link to it either way in the description here of the video, so we'll make sure
plus,
we
I
got
ain't
a
trying
link
to
to
give
it.
Amazon too much money, man. I bought a bunch of them myself, so now man, you can get them from me.
Oh, you
Amazon.
got the yeah, you got
Yeah,
the plug,
they're only
man.
on Amazon right now. They have like a Kindle and like a paperback.
Yeah.
Then if you're in Houston, come by the gym. I'll get
Swing
you.
on through.
Got
Get you a
some.
signed copy. Damn.
That's
But you
right.
gotta drop that review though.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Please, if you're out there, leave a review. It kind of gets it like bumped up. It's like it's kind of like Instagram. It's like weird algorithms and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's like when someone's looking for shin guards or something, it'll pop up and stuff. So
That's
yeah.
dope. Yeah, get it up there on those on that bestseller list.
Yes.
For sure.
But yeah, man, thanks for having me on, and everybody in the USA Muay Thai scene, thanks for all the support. I hope to close this year out with a good one, man. Hopefully get some dates for youth championship, adult championship, and 2022 World Games. That's going to be really awesome. So we're going to be looking for some volunteers too. So everybody out there wants to complain and stuff, well, come on and join the team.
Yeah.
We need your help.
Yeah. I'll be there too for sure, helping out however I can. Absolutely.
Always.
You're the man, brother. Thanks again for coming on. I really appreciate your time. I was looking forward to this one for sure. I knew we were going to talk some good hip hop and some movies and stuff too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
all my 3 favorite things: Muay Thai, hip hop, and movies. Man, can't go wrong.
We're gonna have a round table, man. We're gonna have Jeff DeHillo on there, Ogden, a couple other people I know that are on that same loop right there. They know the same people we know.
That would be dope. Yeah, because I did notice, and whenever I watch Ogden's videos, like he'll put stuff up on Instagram, like he always puts the right shit on. Yeah. So I had a feeling. I mean, he's from Jersey, so I feel like you got to have some kind of hip hop culture, Yeah. That would be sick. We should do that. Let's set a date for that. I would be super down for that. How is I haven't talked to Jeff in a while. How's he holding up?
He's good. You know what it'll be? I got a perfect thing. It's gonna be like a versus battle. It's gonna be all 4 of our playlists against each other.
Oh shit. I like that. That would be sick. That would get some looks. Yeah, let's do that. I like that. I'm gonna start digging in the crates right now. Cool, brother. I'll let you get out of here, man. Thanks again so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes,
let's do it again soon, man. Let's get let's do that. Let's get you, me, Jeff and Ogden on one day. I think that'd be fun, man.
Dude, that'll be good.
Yeah, just talk some music, talk some happy shit, man. Put some happiness out into the world.
Yeah.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Later.
Take care.